Hello and welcome to this special recorded briefing by the Jerusalem Press Club. Our guest today is Irit Lahav, spokesperson of Kibbutz Nir Oz. And the reason for this briefing is that Nir Oz yesterday, this would be Monday evening, 11th of November, the Kibbutz announced that it is returning to rebuild. Now, among the many kibbutzim that were attacked on October 7th along the Gaza periphery, Nir Oz was hit among the hardest. And therefore, the decision of the kibbutz, which we'll discuss in a minute, the autonomous decision by the members of the kibbutz to rebuild, is of a special importance in a war where the victory that people hope for has been proving so elusive for so long. Let's welcome Irit Lahav now, the spokesperson of the kibbutz. She's connecting with us from New York at the moment. Hello, Irit, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning from New York. At the moment, I'm just visiting here for a documentary screening about the October 11th attack, October 7th attack, and then the following hatred that has sprung in the United States against Jews.
Understand. Okay, thank you. Can you, before we go into the specifics of Nir Oz, can you explain what it means that the kibbutz made an autonomous decision separately from the government? What does it mean that Nir Oz is a kibbutz not only by name, but in essence, where the members of the community actually make decisions regarding the kibbutz in a democratic manner? So can you, like, in a few words, just describe what it means, this model of a community?
Okay, so a kibbutz is not just a village or a community. It is a pure democracy, and all the members of the kibbutz gather together to decide crucial things about whatever, the budget, or what they would invest in, or what they would grow the next year, or important things like whether we're going to rebuild the kibbutz and return to the kibbutz or not. Nir Oz had 138 members of the kibbutz, as well as other residents who were living in the kibbutz until October 7th. But the major decisions are taken by the members, not the residents. And those who want to become members are welcome to join the kibbutz as a member, and they would take upon decisions as well. So everybody has an equal voice. And the whole structure of the kibbutz is based on this idea of a shared responsibility and shared decision in a way that is everybody knows everybody. We don't have fences between the houses. So the whole architecture or the whole planning of the kibbutz is based on this idea of a common that everybody knows everybody. We have shared interests. We trust each other. We want to live together. We like each other. And so decisions come up after discussions with each other, and then there is a voting. So yes, yesterday there was this voting about rebuilding the kibbutz, and the decision was voted by 77 people. They want to rebuild the kibbutz, while 9 were objecting it.
So let's now go into the details of, Nir Oz specifically. On October 7, can you tell us, like, how large was the community and how many people were killed and taken away, and also large parts of the kibbutz were burned down? I mean, this kibbutz was like decimated. Can you go into more specifics on that? What happened there?
So in the morning of October 7th, we were 415 people who were residing at the kibbutz. That includes babies and children, elderly people, Thai workers, Indians, Tanzanian people. That's 415 people. And on October 7th, 117 were either murdered or kidnapped. So that accounts to 1 out of 4 that were either murdered or kidnapped. And if we think about these numbers a little deeper, then we would assume that maybe 10% were not at home that morning. Maybe they were going on a holiday to Italy or visiting their parents somewhere. And so let's deduct about 10%. We go down to 370, 360 people. And 117 becomes 1 out of 3 who were actually at the kibbutz, who were either kidnapped or murdered.
These are truly astounding numbers. Apart from this, about 60% of all homes in the kibbutz were burned, right?
Yes. Thing is that Nir Oz didn't get any help. There were no soldiers at all in Nir Oz until 2:45. The first soldiers came at 2:45 in the afternoon, while the massacre started at 6:30 in the morning. So the terrorists had plenty of time to do whatever they wanted. They wanted to destroy, kill, and abduct people. So the kibbutz, the terrorists have gone from door to door in the kibbutz and kidnapped whoever they could, looted all the houses and then burned down the looted houses. Or if they couldn't get the people out, they would burn the houses on its residents. So it's all throughout the kibbutz that the houses are burned down to the ground. The terrorists turned on the gas in the kitchens and lit them with fire. So the fire would burn the whole house until the gas is exhausted. So you have nothing, zero, just ashes. So if people did survive these houses, they have nothing to return to, and the house needs to be destroyed because it really almost collapsed on the walls. I have nothing really to hold on to. So when we talk about the renovating or rebuilding or returning to the kibbutz, it's a major task because it's all throughout the kibbutz that there is destruction. It's not like Be'eri or Kfar Aza, in which there was one neighborhood that was attacked and burned down. It was all of the houses are really, really severely damaged. Even the terrorists have burned down our dining hall, our grocery store, even the common used buildings, kindergartens. So it would take years to rebuild the kibbutz, and it was a complex decision because some people feel that it is too painful to rebuild the kibbutz. Some people don't want to touch anything until all the hostages are coming back. We still have 29 hostages that are still held in Gaza, out of which 22 are believed to be alive. And it is a sensitive decision because let's take, for example, the Bibas family. Do we want to demolish their home? Or do we want to wait for them to come back? So it's one thing is to decide to rebuild the kibbutz, but the decision on the pace and what houses to first demolish and rebuild is also a sensitive issue that we talk about. Meantime, we hired architects to do the planning. And we, as being a total democracy, the kibbutz, we are sort of presenting the ideas and discussing the ideas with the architects among all the members of the kibbutz. Say, do we want modern-looking houses? Do we want 2 stories? Do we want 1 story? Do we want it to look modest, like the kibbutz's principles, or do we want it to look sort of lavish and grand? Is it important for us to take care of the environment? Do we want a lot of greenery, or do we want it more,
Okay,
walled?
but what about, is there like going to be a museum in the kibbutz or something like this? And I also wanted to ask you about the vote. How, I mean, the way I think about it, returning physically to the scene of the crime, there's also a post-traumatic aspect to it. And is there even like psychological accompaniment for the members who are returning? You told me in a previous conversation between us that most of the community today lives together, evacuated, obviously, in Kiryat Gat. But apart from those, those issues you mentioned, 1 story or 2 stories, and like how green the building should be, there's the issue of, how to commemorate something that is still ongoing, basically.
Yeah, we're working on it as well about how to still remember those who, how to keep, maybe I should say, how to keep memory of those who were murdered. Of course, the ones that are still kidnapped, we are waiting for their release. But those who were murdered, it's very important for us to keep their memory. And we are discussing how to do it. Definitely, we are going to do things, but really, how do we want to keep several burned houses in the kibbutz, or do we really want to have burned houses in the kibbutz when children are roaming around, or we roam around? So definitely there is going to be like one center for memory, and people started to collect things that it is important for them to keep before the houses are destroyed, to rebuild. And we are working with a group of people who specialize in memory commemoration. Part of the memories will be to keep some of these burned sites, but some of them will be to keep their memory, in the sense of keep the kibbutz's tradition in terms of how we would celebrate our holidays and stuff like that. So there are many different aspects of memory. It is very important to do that, but it is a sensitive issue because, as I said, maybe people don't want to live among these burned houses. So some people say that it is better to first start with new neighborhoods that are not within those areas that were attacked, like right next to it. And some people say no, it's the too many plants and beautiful trees and greenery. We should start with the inner side of the kibbutz. So it is very complicated. It's not like just going to build whatever new neighborhood. It has a lot of emotional stress got to do with it.
I understand. Thank you for this. Summarize, as I said, Nir Oz was a kibbutz that was hit like the hardest. As Irit told us, 29 kibbutz members still in captivity in Gaza, of which 22 are believed to be alive. And a small press release yesterday evening, I think, carries huge symbolic meaning. The decision of the members of Nir Oz to return to their homes and rebuild their houses. I would like to thank you very much, Irit, for giving us your time. I appreciate it, and I wish Nir Oz only success and flourishing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.